Friday, end of the month, last day to make money for this month. So hopefully you guys are having a good month. We had a good month. I just went over the numbers yesterday. We have a couple interesting moves going on today. What is your favorite crypto? So hold on a second before we get into that. No Mass, no X's. We don't do open call-outs and Q&A yet. We are going to be doing live Q&A, but we're going to be doing some meta-analysis on the SPYs, Qs, IWMs, and Bitcoin. And then we're going to be taking a look at Tesla, Roblox, CRM, which just had earnings and just issued forward guidance. And then we're going to be talking about AMC and what kind of happened with AMC yesterday and what we think is going to happen going forward with that. Then we'll do open Q&A, which means that if you want us to look at any instrument, any time frame, any analysis, any trades you're in, it's just three things. You need to put the symbol, the time frame, 1 cent subscription, bullish or bearish. So real quick, SPYs are in what we call positive gamma territory right now. And what was interesting is that overnight, a lot of the options had rolled up a little bit. And generally when I see options rolling up, like call strikes rolling up, then that creates kind of this underpinning of support for the markets. If the calls are well below the current price, then if the majority of strikes are well below a certain price, then it kind of creates a situation where the support is a little bit lower than the current price. But if they keep rolling up, then that means buyers are coming in to the current level. And that to me is very, very supportive. So I feel like it's probably going to be a low volatility day. Monday's a holiday in the U.S. Markets are going to be closed. And we have about 20-30% of the options in SPYs and Qs rolling off today. So that is going to... It's not going to really create this kind of feedback loop or a really volatile market in SPYs. Expect SPYs to be very, very calm today. Qs is in, I believe, a negative gamma position. Let me check. Yeah, Qs is in a negative gamma position, a decent one. It actually increased the negative gamma position that it was in from yesterday. And so that means that you should probably expect a little bit more volatility in tech today. It is Friday, but that the negative gamma basically means increased volatility. If it breaks the upside, you'll have a bigger upside move. If it breaks the downside, you have a bigger downside move. So when I look at it on the 1 hour, it is forming a pretty good breakout structure right here. My trusty pen. Where are you, my trusty pen? And I'm going to have some music playing in the background if that's okay. And let me know if you can hear the music or not. Okay. Should be some humming in the background. It's mostly chanting. So look at this structure right here. It's corrective with the base building, So if we do get a breakout today, especially before the European close, we'll probably get a decent move on this one here. When I look at strikes and what's going on, I think, I don't see us getting past 339 anytime soon. At least not today. That'd be impressive. 339 being, right about there. Yeah, I don't see us getting past 339, 340 today. That would be an impressive move. But it is, we had seen some low liquidity moves yesterday and today, especially in AMC. AMC wasn't a low liquidity move, but AMC is textbook definition of a gamma squeeze. So Qs expect volatility. IWMs also in negative gamma mode, but a mild negative gamma mode. So mild volatility in that. It has had an impressive run. We are getting close to our resistance level in IWMs. We're not there yet. We're looking for like a 228, 229 print, and then we'll look to sell this one. It's definitely been a good week for small caps as a whole. Small caps had a very strong week. IWM was very supportive of that, but I think we're going to be running out of fuel once we start getting 229, 230. So that should put kind of a lid on small caps. Crypto trying to rebound a little bit. decent kind of rebound. So the structure was very clean for a while. Impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive. Comes right up to this kind of resistance here. Makes a false break, and then we get strong buying. So Psychotic 2, welcome. You have just subscribed. Welcome aboard to the Second Skies channel. So we now have a counter trend impulsive move here, and that's a disruption in this selling off from 27. And so that to me short term is bullish. If it can maintain VWAP, weekly VWAP at 2560 or say even 2520, then it should reattempt to break this highs. And if it can break back above here, then you're talking like 2680 and trying to gun for 2720. So it's going to need a little bit to rebound. Psychotic saying, good morning, guys. How are you doing? We are doing well. Hope you are the same. All righty. And then that covers crypto. We'll do 4 movers in Tesla, Roblox, CRM, announcement, AMC, what we think is going to happen today, and what's kind of happening with the options activity in that. And then we'll do open Q&A. So Tesla has had a relatively strong week. We felt like 600 was going to be support this week, and once it got above 600, it's just been smooth sailing. So when I look at open interest on Tesla, what's going on with options positioning, 32% of the options are rolling off today. So that could create a little bit. That's going to create an overhead that I don't think this is going to be able to break past a certain point. Right now, the market has got about 2.7 million calls and 2.9 million puts. So looking at that, I would expect this to roll back a little bit and then the options board to reset. AMC to the moon, possibly. Will it happen today, though, or is it going to have to wait till next week? That's what we're going to talk about shortly. So I think Tesla starts to find resistance. If it does break past the highs here at 634, I think 640, 650, but I think 650 is going to cap it. I don't think we're getting past 650 today. That would be impressive. Roblox has just been in beast mode since earnings. So Roblox earnings rip. So our bull call spread is in max profit at this point. We do have a fair amount of options rolling off on Roblox today. A fair amount. Yeah, 33%. So I expect this to roll back a little bit. And the market is long about 200,000 calls and 125,000 puts. So yeah, I expect this to roll back as we get towards the end of the day a little bit, or Monday, Tuesday. Because if the market's long calls, more long calls than puts, then that fuel, if it's expiring, it's going to pull out of the market. So that fuel will be kind of taken away. Calls will be monetized sometime throughout the day today, and that's going to create a pullback in this. And so when it does, where are we looking to get long? We're going to reset longs in Roblox for the month of June. We're going to get long another bull call spread. We already are. I think we just closed our bull call spread and our long stock yesterday. And we'll probably reset around 91. So we're going to look for a pullback to around 91. And we'll just keep adding size all the way down to about 81. If it has a weekly close below 78, then we were wrong in that one there. But we will gladly buy dips down to 81 if it happens to get there. Because I think Roblox is going to hit $100 in June. We said $100 in June a few days ago. Got darn close, $1 away. So we think it'll pull back, reset the options board, and then it's going to make a run higher. And so we're targeting 100. So if we get in at 91, that's fine by us. We'll add a little more, maybe at 88, 84, 85 would be perfect, and 81 would be cherry. I'd be happy. It's just more upside on that one. CRM, positive announcement here. So trading higher after company reported better than expected Q and EPS results. And this is also the bullish fuel for months going forward. Company also issued Q2 EPS and sales guidance above estimates and raised fiscal year 22 EPS and sales guidance. So not just are they saying next quarter, they're saying next year is all going to be above estimates. So that's just going to create a lot of tailwinds for this. And so we're looking at CRM, and I think CRM end of year is at least going to hit 270. I think there's a good chance we break the yearly highs at 284. I think probably 300 is more likely. So since we have, looking at the options on CRM, yeah, nothing really rolling off today that's going to be crazy. So when I look at that, I think wait for a pullback to end the week, and then on Tuesday load up probably short-term options maybe for June, and then start looking at setting up some medium-term and long-term options, maybe end of the quarter or end of next quarter, and then also end of the year options. So we'll probably tier in 3 levels of options on this: short, medium, and long-term. I'm bullish on CRM for the rest of the year now. So that's all very positive. And so it might even break out 242. Yeah, it's strong. So I'll probably add a little bit of size on a pullback to 239, 240. And I mean, ideal, God, if we could somehow get a pullback to 230, that would be gangster. Don't think we're going to get it. I think it's just going to continue to gain momentum here, but yeah. All right, last one, AMC, and then we're going to do open Q&A. Colin's got a bear call spread. Give me a second, we'll get into that. All right, so AMC, what happened yesterday? So the main thing that you have to understand yesterday was there was an insane amount of options contracts. The liquidity was insane. It was like 385 million shares yesterday. And a lot of that, the options contracts, if you're looking at the options contracts, they were absolutely insane numbers. Implied volatility ended the day something like 400%. So basically what happened is we kind of had a gamma squeeze. People started buying long calls. The market makers were not hedged for that. And so people were buying calls, market makers are short calls. How do they offset their short call position? By getting long stock. So that just created this kind of feedback loop and gamma squeeze, and it just kept ramping it higher, higher, and higher until we had our kind of blow off top, which was here. And I think once the market did this, like once it hit this and then pulled back here, we literally texted our members live in the trade room and said, hey, that is the high of day. It is not going to make a higher higher on the day. That it's done for the day. That's the highest you're going to see on the day. And that's exactly what happened. I had one more attempt, close but no cigar, and then pull back to where it found support on this one here. So there clearly was a pretty good base at 25, and 25 was a major support. Yeah, here's 25, and you can see why 25 was a good support here. Resistance, support, resistance, and support there. So that was a good base for launching higher. But yeah, absolutely insane price action. We scalped some of it yesterday, but we were kind of wanting to wind down for the month. So we scalped some of this here. Yeah, you can see this kind of parabolic price action here. This is just people buying calls, dealers having to buy stock to kind of offset their hedges. And it just kept accelerating. And then we had the blow off exhaustion top on this candle here. And once this massive pullback happened, that was like the dealers basically saying, it literally like almost went to 30. That was the dealers saying enough on the day. Now they are no longer going to, they bought enough stock. They're long enough stock at this point so that they no longer need to buy more stock to offset their hedges. And part of that was because of the fact that as we started going up like this, the implied volatility also kept going up. That means it was more expensive for traders to buy options. Eventually, the implied volatility got so high that people were no longer able to buy calls at the same speed that they were before. Therefore, dealers didn't have to hedge as much anymore. So that's pretty much what happened. And then eventually it got to a point where people were no longer able to buy options. At 400% implied volatility, only insane, totally methed out type people would actually consider buying long calls at 400% implied in volatility. The cost of buying those options is just through the roof. So that's pretty much what happened in AMC. And AMC right now has, I think, if I'm correct, let's take a look at the numbers. I mean, it was already at 35%. 48% of all the options in AMC right now are rolling off today. That means whoever's long calls is monetizing those calls right now. They are monetizing them. And especially since we're at yesterday, almost at yesterday's highs, if we get below this, you're going to see more and more calls monetized. So AMC had a rip, but dealers are now hedged. Implied volatility raised the cost of that. Nobody's really able to buy options or wants to buy options at this point. If they are, they're paying too much of a premium. And so with all those options rolling off today, people are going to monetize. If they're in profit, they're going to monetize today. That's why you've seen this kind of brief open, sell-off, pullback, and pullback, or rip and then pull back. I think AMC rolls back. If I had to speculate where, I think if it loses 28.88, then we're back to 25.50. That's kind of where I see AMC. It is certainly possible, though, that we could see a reload next week of the weekly options on AMC. And if that happens, then we could potentially see another squeeze. We'll have to see what happens with implied volatility. We'll have a shortened week next week because of the U.S. holiday. Markets are closed on Monday. So that means traders are going to, if they're going to get long options, they'll have to do it on Tuesday. And theta is going to be eating into that. Time decay will be eating into those options very, very fast. So potentially high gamma move in it, but we'll have to see what implied volatility is looking like once we hit the markets on Tuesday. And that will kind of give us a good idea on AMC. But I don't see AMC breaking 36. If by some chance it does have one more last push, I think it hits 39 and then it pulls back and it's going to end probably around 30. If we hit 39, I think we'll pull back and end the week around 30. If we break 28.88, then I think we add around 25.50. So that's what I'm saying on that. Okay, let's look at questions. Open Q&A. What are you trading today? We probably won't execute really a whole lot of trades. It's Friday. It's end of the month. Everything's rolling off. We're probably going to close positions. Any things that we have profited that are mildly in the negative. I think we closed our Delta Iron Butterfly for a minor loss on that one there, but then we closed some other trades for minor profits. We may get long CRM today, but I'm hesitant of buying a position before a holiday weekend. So yeah, we may get that. Roblox, we'd like to roll back to a certain point. If it gets back to our 91, okay, we'll add some Roblox. That's kind of what we're thinking right now. But I don't see us being super gangster active on the day. It's end of the month. We had a profitable month. April was our first losing month in a year. And we've already, I checked the stats yesterday, we already made up all the losses from April and then some. So there's really no point in us taking risk at this point. We're going to end a strong May. If a super gangster trade comes out, we'll trade it. Otherwise, we'll probably just mostly monetize and monitor positions, do some adjustments, and that's it. Eric Sachs, good morning. Victor, good morning to you. Rokus Focus, good morning to you. Miss Actor, hello. Yanni, hello. Yes, no, all good. Okay, Miss Actor, everything's perfect. Cool. All right, going through the questions. What is your favorite crypto? I don't have a favorite crypto, but I like, in terms of infrastructure, I like Ethereum, and I like all the downstream cryptos it's creating to kind of support the Ethereum infrastructure. I think transactions, everybody feels like Bitcoin is definitely a store of value. That's their primary choice for that, for sure. But I think when it comes to transactions and infrastructure and technology, I think Ethereum has a better kind of setup for that. And a lot of the downstream cryptos that are coming out are more so to support Ethereum than they are Bitcoin. So our portfolio is, we have Ethereum, we have Solana, we have Cardano, we just added some Compound, Polygon, and I'm trying to think if there's, which is Matic, and trying to think if there's anything else we have. So that's in our crypto portfolio right now. And we're along all those, basically. Okay. Maybe the markets are going up because Biden announced he's going to inject $6 trillion more in debt. Yeah, I never try and look for an individual reason, because the bottom line is that Biden can say, hey, we're going to put $12 trillion in the markets. But if there's no order flow to follow it up, then the markets aren't going to move. So markets aren't moving necessarily because Biden said something. They may or may not, but the bottom line is markets move because order flow moves. So whether Biden's the catalyst or not, whether it's a technical catalyst or not, whether the markets are flipping at a gamma, kind of flip point, that is another thing. So when I look at it, the bottom line is order flow is the most proximate driver of price action. If the order flow moves and it's in balance to the buy side, the market's going to go up. If it's in balance to the sell side, the markets are going to go down. Simple as that. So it doesn't really matter whether it's a technical, fundamental, sentiment, or flow-based reason. The bottom line is all those reasons have to become order flow, and order flow is the most proximate driver of price action. So, okay, so Colin Pardo, you're in a 5 times bear call spread in AA since May 21st. Let's take a look. Oh, look who's rolling. Look who's rolling. Does it hit our 25 point today? We will find out. We will find out. Yeah. I had a feeling everything's going to start pulling back today. There's just so many options rolling off today. That's why we started taking short positions yesterday in anticipation of this. Okay, so you have 38.42 bear call spread. Okay, so that means you are short the 38 and you're long the 42. Okay, so that's a plus, that's a minus. Call, call. Okay, let's take a look at options open interest. And where do I see? Let's get that out of there. We don't need that. We need extra chart. We need extra chart. You've been since May expiring today. Do I think it can get down to your 38? You're probably in decent profit, I would assume at this point. Yeah, net premium credit is 215, but now copy that. Max risk is 1785. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. All right. Structurally, it looks like it wants to roll over a little bit, and I think a lot of things are being monetized. Market was 180,000 calls, 131,000 puts. And if I had to guess, the market was probably more long calls than they were long puts. So I think some of those things are going to be monetized. I would wait a little bit and see if we can break 38.22. If we can, then it should roll down to 38. You'd be fine. If it gets above 38.85, then I would close it for whatever credit profit you still have remaining, and that's it. Yeah, I like the 40 strike a little bit better. So if you're thinking about maybe selling another call spread, I would say consider your first call being at the 40 strike. I like the 40 resistance on AA right now. So yeah, kind of see what's happening with that. Zsan for the next week. Zsan. Okay, so Mosadaka-san, if you have a stock or anything you want me to look at, it's just three things for a call out. Symbol instrument, time frame, 1 cent subscription, bullish or bearish. Konstantin Maniv. Hello, Chris. I have a bad connection today. Very glad to see and hear you. You as well. Futrin says scam. What's a scam? Help me out here, Futrin. Are you talking about Biden's infrastructure thing? What are you talking about as a scam? Let me know what you mean, if you can clarify. Okay. No more open call outs. Does AMC get to 25 today? Put a 1 in the chat if you think AMC gets to 25.52 today. Put a 2 if you think it stays above that today. Let me know. Let me know. Shrimatam. Doesn't Shri, I forget, it's been a long time. It's been 21 years since I did my Sanskrit Shri. Because normally it could also be SHRI. I forget that one. I know like Jaya is like victory and things like that, but I don't know Shrimatam. So help me out, Shrimatam. What's the Sanskrit translation, or what's the translation of Shri? Because normally I see it SHRI, but I know SHRE is another way to spell it. So let's see here. Coming in, Colin Potter says a 1 for AMC hitting 25.52. Eric Sachs, all 1s across the board. Anyone want to take the 2? Who wants to take that? The 2 saying AMC is going to close above 25.52 today. Let me know in the chat. Nobody so far. No brave souls. Leslie's saying 1 as well. Cool. Kenneth LYZ also saying 1. Oswaldo saying 1. Copy that. We will see. We shall see. CRM rolling back. Good. We want this. We want CRM to roll back. I don't like CRM at 240. I like it a little bit lower. Kenneth, WSB will, Wall Street Bets will always say 2. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. And, I appreciate Wall Street Bets. I think it was such a good thing because it made the retail trader realize that it made them realize that individually, we don't have as much power, but collectively we do. We can influence markets. We can compete with the big people, but we have to come together. We have to come together. And I feel like there is, kind of this cultural divide kind of happening between I don't want to say the haves and the have-nots, because I'm a have, but I'm also more with the retail crowd. I'm a professional trader. I've been doing this for 21 years, but I'm not an institution. So I align myself more with the retail trader on this one here, in the sense of like, I'm more in their camp. And so I feel like if we can come together as a people, then we can influence change. If we stay divided, which is generally what people in power want, people with wealth and power want, they want the small crowd to stay divided, then we won't affect change. And I think it's been such a good thing for us to come together and say, hey, we can beat you at your own game. We can do it in large numbers. So, an ant by itself isn't that powerful, but you have swarms of ants and they can take over a house. I've seen it happen. So I used to live in Mexico, and humidity and bugs are insane there. And so, yeah, it's a real thing. Okay, Srimatam saying it could mean wealth. Actually, Sri could refer to the goddess Lakshmi. Copy that. You should see the Sri Yantra in the background. If you haven't noticed it. Canthel Z, hi Chris, USD CAD short. What time frame? What time frame do you have? Pick a time frame and I will do the analysis. Yeah, definitely bearish. So let me know, are you thinking short term, medium term? Pick any sort of time frame, 1 hour, 5 minute, 4 hour, daily, doesn't matter. Okay, we got about 15 minutes more of the open Q&A. 4 hour, copy that. And Fu Trin didn't come back with what he's defined as a scam, so I don't know what he means by that. You can help me out. Okay, looking at the structure here, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, counter and impulsive. But now we're kind of getting into this kind of choppy zone here. I'm leaning more towards the bear side in this, but I wouldn't want to short at current levels. I'd want it to clear that. We also have big figure at 120 right there. So, being that we're in what we call an unclean trend, I would say look for pullbacks right just under 2150 or whatever that price is here. Let's see what that is. So I'd say wait for pullbacks at 2176 or 2143. But I would not trade a breakout. If it was to just like shoot through here, I would not trade a breakout. I would wait for a pullback on this one here. But yeah, bearish on this one here for sure. For sure. Bitcoin, 4 hour bullish. Ali Daydar. I think you've been in our webinars before, Ali Daydar, so good to see you again. I'm going to use Coinbase because that's the one I want. You want 4 hours? Well, I'm not bullish at the current levels and structure. It needs to transition a little bit more. Why do I say that? So, crypto rolling over, impulsive, corrective, breakout pullback, impulsive, corrective, breakdown. Dip buyers at 30,000. You saw this like in Ethereum, dip buyers at 2K. Counter and pullback, but counter resistance at the weekly VWAP. So start selling off. Almost presses the same identical low. And look how this resistance kind of ceiling is lower than this one here. So based upon the current structure, the highs are getting lower. The lows are getting higher here to here. But it's not enough in and of itself for me. The structure hasn't fully transitioned yet for me to say long. So what would I want to see? 4 hour close above 40, maybe 45, 40.5, or a little bit more of a pullback towards here and then add to get long. Right around 31.3, 31.4. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on that. But yeah, I would like to get long in it. I'd like to see a little bit more change in the price action context. ETH, 5 minute bullish. Oh, I already have an ETH chart, so I don't need to do that. We can just go to the ETH chart. And if you haven't already, hit that like button for coming in on a Friday, end of the month. It's my girlfriend's birthday today, and I only have about 3 or 4 more hours of work, and then I'm rolling out to see the woman. So hit the like button for my girlfriend's birthday and for me coming in on a Friday when I probably should be doing stuff around the house, getting the house prepared and stuff like that. And I'm here with you guys doing trading. It's hard not to. I always love talking about trading. Okay. ETH looks stronger. Ethereum looks stronger to me. So do you see how Bitcoin was like not making new highs? But Ethereum is making new highs. So impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive. Counter trend finds a second dip here. Boom. Counter trend impulsive buying. That's a disruption in the selling process. Now it makes a new high and then it's pulling back a little bit. So would I want to buy or add? I'm already long Ethereum. Would I want to add? I'm long around 22.45. Would I want to add at current levels? No. Based upon... Yeah. Impulsive, corrective, impulsive, and holding weekly view up as resistance. So when I look at that, I think probably Ethereum's going to drift a little bit lower. It could start to drift to right around here. Just right around the 25, 27. That'd be the first place I consider adding. If that breaks, then I would just wait for... I'd wait for like 24.40. Yeah. I'd wait for a dip to 24.40. So if that fails, then I wait to that. That's what I'm thinking on Ethereum. I think short term it's going to pull back a little bit. Do I think it's going to pull back all the way to here and then break through that? I would need to see much more aggressive selling for that to happen. So yeah. Constantine says happy birthday to her. Thank you. Appreciate it, Eric and Leslie as well. Yeah. Yeah. I'm super excited about it. So I haven't seen her in almost a week now. And so I'm looking forward to having a nice long weekend with her. Okay, we got about 8 more minutes. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes, Kenneth. I appreciate it. Got about 8 more minutes, 4 live callouts, or questions on anything. So 8 more minutes, then I got to go to a exclusive member webinar. And that will be the last of May. The very last. Okay, let's see here. What's happening with our CRM? AMC, a little bit of a bounce off 28. Somebody voted 2. They might be the winner. Bitcoin, rolling, AA. Colin, I feel, rejected by VWAP. If the pressure continues to squeeze to the downside, then we should break this here and start to kind of probe 38. So, yeah. I'm feeling, oh, wait, that's a... Did you say Alcoa or AAL? Okay, AA. Good. I got the right stock. Whew. I thought I misjudged that one. Tesla rolling, and where's our CRM? Is CRM dipping enough? Nope, it's back up. It is back up. And what was the other one? Roblox. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely seeing some options roll off. That's kind of what's happening with the liquidity and everything like that. Mossadegh is saying happy birthday. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, any last questions before we wrap it up? We got a few more minutes. Let me see Benzinga real quick. One more. AMD bullish daily. Ooh. Let's take a look. Okay, 24% of the options are rolling off, but not till the June expiry, which is June 18th. Markets are long. There's about 2.1 million calls and 1.7 million puts out in the market. So, let's see here. I would look to probably, what are you thinking here? AMD bullish daily. Not at current levels. I wouldn't touch AMD until we get down to like 74, 75. Especially this structure. You can see the neckline, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So I would kind of almost be interested if AMD can get up to 84. I might be interested in selling that or doing a bear put spread. Yeah, I might be interested in a bear put spread on that one there. So not at current levels for a buy. If you want to buy, 74.75, pretty good location. Very darn good location. You can get long 74.75, stop loss 72.44, and you have at least, in my opinion, $8 to the upside. So you'd be talking roughly 2 to the downside, 8 to the upside, potential 4 to 1 on this one here. You could also, instead of getting long the stock itself, you could do a bull call spread. You could do like a 75.80. You can do a 75.82. Yeah, that is where I'd be leaning on this one here. You could even do a put fly. You could do a put fly for like 75.80.85. And hope that it hits here and then pulls back and closes towards the middle. Sorry, not a put fly, a call fly. Yeah, those are 3 I'd be looking at. So bullish, not at current levels, but down here, absolutely. So we just set alerts for top and bottom. And we're going to look to trade both sides. Until this structure breaks, these 2 levels break, and get a weekly close outside that, we're going to trade both sides. So yeah, it's actually a good spot. I like this from a technical perspective. So good spot, Oswaldo. Snap long yesterday at 59. Take profit is 53. Okay, now the questions are rolling in. Sure. Right as we're about to end the webinar, all the questions rolling. Let's take a look. Snap's looking good structurally. Long yesterday at 59.90. It's a good location. Okay, I see what you did. That's a good trade. I like it. Especially the fact that it kind of consolidated here and then broke out. That's a good trade. Take profit is what? Take profit is 63. Let's take a look. Snap. Yeah, Snap's well supported. I'm liking it. I like your location. Yeah. Not on a weekly, but on a short-term basis. I really like it. Boatload of gamma rolling off today. Boatload. So you may want to, if I was holding this, in my opinion, if I was holding this, I would probably take some of the profits off the board. We may get a roll off because you do have a fair amount of options rolling off today. So we may get a little bit of a pullback. And then if it doesn't pull back too aggressively, then just ride the rest till 63. We are starting to get into kind of thin air. But overall, it's supported. If Snap gets back to 60, yeah, I'll be a buyer. If Snap gets back to 60, I'll be a buyer. For sure. But 59.90, you're already up 2. What was your stop loss on this one here? You didn't put the stop loss. So you have basically a $3 target. You're already 2/3 there. So what do you, if you haven't adjusted your stop loss, let's look at the risk profile at this point. You have $1 more of potential profit, but you have $2 in potential downside. So think about it like that. Now you're risking 2 to gain 1 more. That means you'd have to have a high probability it's going to get there. Therefore, me personally, in terms of managing the risk, I would be monetizing some of my position at this point. I would be taking probably at least half off the board. And then if it doesn't roll back too hard, then let the remaining half ride to 63. If it starts to roll off hard, wait till, pull back towards 60 and then look to add a little bit more, because I think it's going to be supported for a move towards 63. I think the closer you get to 63, you're going to start to encounter some decent resistance there, and you can see why. There's a fair, you got a fair amount of resistance here. We haven't had a weekly close above it since, April. And it actually didn't even close above it. So we haven't had a close above it since March. So it's definitely going to encounter some resistance there. Yeah, I'd be looking to monetize it and then let the other half ride. That's how I'd be looking to play it at this point. Yeah. Okay. We think about gold daily chart. Will it break 1950 soon? Okay. Let's take a look. Gold's had some strength. Definitely gold's had some strength. 1950 soon? Like when I look at the options complex on gold, yeah, I think gold might start encountering, let's see a GLD. Yeah, when I look at the options complex in gold, I think that a lot of them are going to start to hit resistance and tap out a little bit. So I don't. The good thing that gold versus dollar is having is that USD is weakening relatively right now. Do I think it's going to break 1950 soon? No. No, its best week in this rally was 1760 to 1829. It's a $60 gain. So if we were to have one more gangster week, like next week was totally gangster, it would be at least a week. But then you're still going to have some resistance here. So I don't see gold. I see gold having a little bit harder time to make some of these upside gains. It's going to need some sort of new catalyst. Because when I look at the options complex on GLD, GDX, a lot of the major ETFs and things like that, they are kind of running out of option steam. And that's going to make it harder for gold to push on higher because there's a lot of option contracts on gold. So, yeah, structurally, I think it's bullish, but I would probably, I don't think you're going to get it next week. It could be a couple weeks. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking on that. Yeah. Okay, great. I feel like we've covered a lot of the questions. Went through some really good questions. I really like some of the setups I like. I like the snap. So I like that one. I like Alcoa on a pullback to 40. AMC, I would consider 25.50 would be my first. And I think let me look through the trades here real quick and see if there's anything else that really stood out. Yeah, those are the ones that really stood out for me. Oh, AMD. I like the AMD on both sides. Selling as we get to 84.85 and buying at 74.75. So some really good trade ideas out there, everyone. So, yeah, awesome stuff. So if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and also hit the notification so next time we go live, you will get notified and you can join us for one of these live Q&As. And check out our channel if you haven't already, Second Skies Trading, and our website, secondskiesforex.com. So, holiday weekend, markets closed on Monday. Enjoy your long holiday weekend. I hope you guys have a nice, healthy, safe, and wonderful holiday weekend. The weather's beautiful here in Lake Tahoe, so I'm looking forward to that. So good luck trading, everybody, for the rest of the week. I hope you close May profitable, and if you'd like to trade with us, check us out on our trading masterclass. Until then, take care, be safe, be healthy, everyone, and I will see you in the green.